Imagine walking into a room where nobody knows your name. Before you introduce yourself, before you shake a hand, and before you say a single word, people have already started forming an impression of you. They are not judging your entire personality, but their brains are making quick predictions about whether you seem confident, trustworthy, approachable, or nervous. It sounds unfair, yet you do exactly the same thing every day. Think about the last person you met for the first time. Within seconds you probably felt they were friendly, intimidating, quiet, confident, or interesting. You likely couldn't explain why. That's because your brain is designed to make fast decisions with limited information. Psychologists call these mental shortcuts heuristics. Instead of analyzing every tiny detail, your brain looks for patterns. It notices posture, facial expression, tone of voice, movement, clothing, and even the pace at which someone walks. From those tiny clues it builds an initial story. The story isn't always true, but it helps your brain decide how to respond. Imagine arriving for a job interview. Before the interviewer asks the first question, they've already noticed how you entered the room, whether you smiled naturally, whether you looked comfortable, and how you greeted them. None of these things determine your ability, but they influence how your answers will be interpreted. One of the most powerful psychological ideas behind this is called the halo effect. When we notice one positive quality about someone, our brains often assume they have other positive qualities too. A person who appears calm may also be judged as intelligent. Someone who seems organized may also be assumed to be responsible. The reverse happens as well. If someone appears anxious, observers may unfairly assume they are less capable, even when they are highly skilled. Body language plays a huge role because it speaks before words do. Relaxed shoulders, comfortable eye contact, and natural movements often communicate ease. Constant fidgeting, looking at the floor, or rushing every movement can communicate stress. None of these signals reveal your true character, but they become pieces of evidence that people use until they know you better. Your voice creates another layer of that first impression. Imagine receiving 2 phone calls. One caller speaks slowly and clearly. The other rushes through every sentence and apologizes repeatedly. Even without seeing them, you naturally begin forming opinions. The words may be similar, but the delivery changes how they are received. This doesn't mean you should fake confidence. In fact, people are surprisingly good at noticing when someone is performing instead of being genuine. Real confidence usually looks relaxed rather than dramatic. Confident people don't constantly try to prove they are confident. They simply focus on the conversation instead of worrying about how they appear. Another reason first impressions matter is something psychologists call confirmation bias. Once we form an opinion, our brains start looking for evidence that supports it. If your first impression of someone is that they're kind, you'll notice the moments that confirm it. If your first impression is negative, you'll often pay more attention to mistakes than to positive behavior. That's why changing a first impression can take much longer than creating one. The good news is that you don't need tricks to make a better impression. Small changes make the biggest difference. Slow down when you enter a room. Make eye contact without staring. Listen carefully instead of waiting for your turn to speak. Smile naturally when it feels appropriate. Speak clearly instead of rushing. These habits don't make you a different person. They simply allow people to see the real you more easily. It's also important to remember that you cannot control every opinion. Some people will misunderstand you, and some people will judge you unfairly because of their own experiences and biases. Your goal isn't to impress everyone. Your goal is to make sure your actions match the person you truly are. The next time you meet someone new, pay attention not only to what you say but also to what you're silently communicating. Your posture, your pace, your expression, and your tone all become part of the conversation before your first sentence begins. Once you understand that, you stop trying to impress people and start focusing on being present. And here's the irony. People often make the best first impressions when they stop trying so hard to make one. Genuine interest, calm energy, and authentic communication leave a stronger mark than any rehearsed trick ever could. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. What's the first thing you notice about someone when you meet them? If you enjoy learning about psychology, human behavior, and the hidden reasons people think the way they do, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.